Hi guys, Tungsten here, long time no see, so I took a little break from Nerf. Well, today I'm back with this crazy blaster that Black Resin have loaned to me for a quick look. Basically, it's an AEB, so in short, you get the benefit of both worlds, basically the accuracy of a Springer, but the efficiency of a flywheel blaster. So today we're gonna take a look at all the features over here. A lot of things to unpack. This is like one of those blasters that have a lot of features, and of course I'll give you a conclusion on what I think about all these blasters at the end of the so-called session. And I also do a FPS test with a few different tile darts, one of them being the Black Resin own GOS dart. Right, so this being a AEB, basically you will require a LiPo battery over here. Right, so you can see this is the specification of the LiPo battery that they make use of. So if you want to take note, this is what you can get. Right, so let's get into the installation process of the battery. Battery compartment is at the back, so you put it out over here, and basically you get to just plug it in. Just make sure you orientate it nicely to the side over here, over here, and then just push it in. You should be comfortable. I mean, the battery should comfortably sit inside. It should not be protruding. You should not be like squeezing it in an awkward position or something like that. Right. So once you install the battery, then we will kind of switch on the blaster itself. Now the blaster, as you can see over here, this is a good transparent see-through. If this round thing is to the forward location, it's actually that means it's prime. So that's a good feature. I like the fact that you can just see the position of the so-called whether it is prime or not prime. Right, so to orientate a little bit, this is a switch over here. There are like 1, 2, 3 and 4 position. This is the safety, and this is a single shot. This is the full auto. This is what they call the maintenance position, or in short they call it the fixing position. Right, once you install the battery itself, okay, this is the so-called the LED. Okay, you need to light press, just press it, and then they'll load up. You'll see the logo of Black Resin, and then you will see the so-called the configuration. So this being a program kind of you get program things for it. In fact, they also included this site whereby you can have a firmware upgrade. I think this is a good touch. When I was doing my own kind of programming for Blaster, I always wanted to have cater for a upgrade, so they did it that way. Right, so once it's loaded up, as you can see, there's no magazine installed. Right, so the good thing is, okay, now I'm at the fixing kind of position. So if I were to push one step down, it becomes auto. Like I said, one step down. Now you push one step further, it is a single shot, and one step forward, it is locked. Right, so of course over here, okay, if you are left-hander, then unfortunately you can't really operate that efficiently. Right, so let's assume I put it onto the single shot. As you can see over here, then I try to fire off without a magazine, it won't. Okay, so that's a good safety feature, prevent you from kind of accidentally kind of fire off without a magazine inside. So that's something that I like. The release, you can see that you can reach it here, or you can reach it here. So nice touch. Right, so again, you have the single shot, photo, and of course the maintenance mode. This icon over here is like a pusher, so they call it the fixing mode, and you can see the so-called the LiPo was the battery. Right, so okay, so it does have a built-in dart counter over here. I'm gonna put it at lock now. Okay, so let's assume, okay, I put in 4 darts. Now this magazine, I don't think it comes with this magazine. What it comes with is this particular magazine. You can check with Black Resin when you try to purchase it. Now they also make a modification to this magazine follower. As you can see over here, it's quite clear. There's a 3D printed part, and then there's a magnet install. This is to facilitate the kind of the capturing of the dart accurately. So let's assume I put in 4 darts, and then I put it in. So put it in. It's not load up yet. To load it up, you press the trigger. Okay. Sorry, I'm in the lock position. It doesn't work. So single shot position. Put the magazine in. Press. You load. This is load. Now you say 15, right? Okay, because they do not know that you only load in 4. But after firing a few rounds, when the magnet hit a sensor, you can actually detect that it will reflect the correct kind of number. Let's fire a few rounds. Okay, as you can see now, straight away I fire, because the magnet actually went into the position of the detector. They can now accurately predict you have kind of shot off. Okay, actually I put in I think 4. All right, so another one. Okay, second. Okay, now I have one last one in the chamber. Yep, and then once I shoot off, it actually will be 0, and you cannot fire off anymore. So that's the good thing about this so-called modification to the follower to include the magnet. You might be wondering, how can you get our hands on this so-called modification parts, right? So it is a 3D printed part. It will be available for all Black Resin Mech user, right? And the magnet itself, they recommend you what the magnet do, and then you can print it out yourself. Unfortunately, they don't sell it because they are trying to produce it and they give it away freely to locals who actually visit the shop itself. Now the next question is, of course, what happens if I don't do the modification, right? Okay, I only have a simple magazine over here. Let's say I load in 15 darts. Okay, by default it's 15 darts. Of course, you can still use it. Okay, assuming it's 15. And of course, you load it up. Okay, and again, now it's 0. Okay, you can press load. It is 15. Okay, you can fire off. Okay, 14 over here, 12, 13, things as such. So it still counts. Now, since I have so many darts inside, why not we kind of switch it to the full auto mode, right? So full auto mode over here, I just film it this way. It will be more interesting. I'll just so you can see that it's just fire off, right? Okay, pretty sweet, right? So over here, left 5. Okay, so if I were to just switch it to single mode again, it just fire off the 5. Okay, so what happened, right? Initially, if you have the magnet kind of follower installed, you will stop. But in this case, you will not stop. You can still press, but just that, of course, you have no more darts. And in fact, if you are in the game, you should observe over here your dart counter, that you run out of darts. Right. So over here, then of course, now it's still prime. So without no more darts, they did not detect the so-called because of the magnet, it did not detect. It did not actually auto unprime here, right? So it's actually still kind of prime, right, without the detection. So all you need to do is to press the trigger again, then it will release. So that's the thing that you need to kind of take note of if you are not using the so-called the modification version of the so-called the follower itself, right? So that's something to take note of. Now we are just touching the surface of this blaster, what it can do. So that is the basic mode of the so-called how you can use. It's a single shot as well as a full auto. Now what I'm going to show you next is basically how you can configure it into another mode, right? Burst fire, right? So how do I kind of configure it such that it is a 3-round burst fire mode, right? So over here, right? So assuming you are at the safe, now all you need to do is to push it all the way back here, all the way to maintenance mode. As you can see over here, now it's under maintenance mode. The icon shows maintenance mode. Now you press the trigger 4 times. As you press, there will be a number to indicate how many times you press, and once you reach 4, you stop. And then it becomes burst fire mode, right? Okay, so if you were to switch it to single shot, it will be burst fire instead of single shot. So let's just give it a try. Over here, let's load. Now it doesn't know that it is kind of not 15. Okay, so if we were to load it up and then we kind of load, right now it's load. It says 15 is fine. Okay, once the magnet reach the detector, it should reflect the correct number. So now if I press, it's going to be burst fire rather than single shot. As you can see, 3 rounds. So now it detected left with 2. So now assuming I want to change back the mode, all I need to do is all the way back to maintenance, squeeze 4 times. It becomes single shot again. Remember to push it back to your firing mode. Single shot, fire. 1, 2, done. And then it actually auto deprime because of the detection by the magnet itself, 0. And you can put it out and then reload. So that is the burst fire mode. Okay, so what other modes does this blaster have? In fact, it has another mode, right? Okay, so it's called the I think it's called the double stroke kind of mode. What it does is when you're in that mode, when you squeeze the trigger, you don't let go, you actually fire off 1 shot, and then when you let go, you fire off the 2nd shot. Right, so let's take a look again how we can kind of go through that particular mode. Now you're in lock, all the way back, maintenance, right? Squeeze 5 times. Double, you see the word double? Right, so now just to take note, if you go down to full auto, that is the mode that is a double stroke. You will still have your single shot over here. So in this mode, is replace the auto fire rather than the single shot. For the burst fire, okay, you replace the single shot function. So you have burst fire and full auto. In this double stroke, you have single shot and double stroke, right? Okay, so let's just put in a single shot mode. Okay, load, right? Just squeeze, you load. So now I'm in single shot, right? So it's you pull a trigger, you fire off, you release it, nothing happened, right? Okay, so now if I switch it to stroke, squeeze, fire off, let go, fire off. So it can be quite fast. Yeah, that is the double stroke. So now it's 0. So to go back, if you want to go back, go to maintenance itself again, then press 5 times. Okay, then you have your back your full auto and then your single shot. So that's how versatile this blaster is, right? You can actually configure it to the liking of your gameplay, right? You like single shot full auto, or you like burst fire full auto, or you like double stroke single shot, right? So all this can be configured. Now before we go on to the FPS, what's the next thing that should be on your mind is basically what happened when the blaster jammed. So there's no blaster that I know of that doesn't jam at all. Sooner or later probably you'll encounter some jams, right? So if you encounter a jam, so what are you gonna do in this particular blaster itself? Now, okay, all you need to do, of course, if you can pull out the magazine, pull out the magazine. There's the mode you go to is always the maintenance mode. Okay, maintenance mode over here. Now what you need to do is to press the trigger twice, and I want you to observe this thing over here. You actually retract. So once you retract, of course, you do your clearing and whatnot, and then once it's done, you double press, you'll be going back. Check your prime. It is now it's prime. As you can see, this thing is at the back. Okay, so be careful. Okay, when it's prime, if you go to the single shot mode, okay, you can just press the trigger. I think it will just fire off or something. Okay, it doesn't have a magazine inside. Okay, so you can kind of just put something. Okay, and then just fire off. Right? Okay, so when you fire off, because there's not the magnet detected one, so you just fire off one, take it out. Right? You need to deprime it. Here is prime, right? Deprime it. You press trigger again, then you deprime. So always deprime. So I feel this window is really good. You can really see the position of this thing, and you really want to make sure that once you're not using it, you want to be at the forward position over here. So as you can see, once you encounter the jam, you can go to the maintenance mode, press trigger twice, pusher will move back, and you can clear your jams, right? So that is quite a neat kind of I would say way for you to work on your blaster itself. So a lot of to unpack on this blaster, right? And then the very last thing now is how do I off the system, right? You might be thinking, where is the off button? Well, you can't find any over here, none. There is no off button for this blaster. Now initially I thought, why is there no off button? Okay, can't you just off the system? Then when I thought about it, and I realized, and of course after discussion with the guys at Red Reason, I fully understand why. Because they do want you to just to off the system. What you need to do, you need to unplug the battery itself. Once you unplug the battery, then the system will be basically off over here. Okay, so there's no off switch. The only way to off this thing, this blaster itself, is to unplug. And then eventually the system, if there's still some power left, then it will be gone. And then you unplug. Why? Because there are so many occasions for myself as well, I left the battery in the blaster overnight, and then what happened? The battery is drained, it's totally not reusable anymore, and then you basically have a useless battery. So this, I thought it was okay, it was quite clever that it actually forced you to really unplug it if you are not using it. So when you're not using, make sure it is deprimed and battery is out and everything is good. Right, so that is this Blizzard mecha. It is the material wise, you can see that it's sheet metal, nylon, and this piece over here is actually a 3D printed metal material, if I'm not wrong. Okay, I like the intricacy of the so-called the skeleton design, this sheet metal thing over here, with the bar kind of thing over here. So you really have the best of both worlds, the precision of a Springer and the efficiency of a flywheel. Now, okay, we'll go for the FPS test, and I'll back with the conclusion of what I think overall on this blaster. Alright, so now you have seen the FPS of this blaster, and let's talk about what do I think about the so-called the blaster itself. Now, first of all, I would say that in terms of FPS, you really, I'm not a FPS guy, but I do kind of like show the FPS reading. And the fact is, if I don't show you the weight of the so-called the dart itself, you might be quite surprised at why the difference is can be so different from the lightest dart to the more heavier darts itself. You can see that it actually changes the FPS. And in my opinion, actually we go for more or less the mid-range. I would say the Red Reason GOS dart is have a good weight, and it will be pretty good for the stability of the flight of the darts and the accuracy of the darts. So yeah, so I too highly recommend that that of that range of kind of weight itself. Now, the conclusion for this blaster, what do you think? Should this be your first blaster if you have not touched this hobby before? My take is no, this is not someone's first blaster. Should not be someone's first blaster because there are a lot of things to take care of, and of course, being an AEB, you have the complexity of the electronic as well as the so-called the maintenance, the springer, all these things. Now, eventually, maybe you even have to take this apart. If you were to take this apart, of course, you realize that there is quite a fair bit of screws and intricacy of this blaster itself to take note of. It's not something that you want to take apart every single time, right? So yeah, so definitely not the first blaster. But if you are kind of an experienced blaster, and it is not a cheap blaster, so it is quite an investment. So you really have to be careful of what you are getting into, and know this is something that require your attention if you were to purchase it. If something were to happen, you have to be ready to be there to even to dare to take it apart, and then eventually kind of resolve the issues if necessary. Right, so is this a good kind of blaster to have? It's definitely the cool factor is definitely there, the accuracy is there, the efficiency is there. If you know how to use it, it's great for your game. And the thing is, it's still a little bit too long in my opinion. So in certain close quarters kind of game, it might not be the best. I'll prefer to use something that might be shorter in kind of the blaster itself. Right, so that is more or less it. Will I recommend it? Yeah, if you have the so-called as I say, it's not a cheap blaster. If you are able to afford it, go ahead. This is one of the coolest AEB that I have ever touched on, lay my hands on, and I really like the intricacy and the design of these things. And of course, for myself, I live in Singapore, and the companies that sells this is in Singapore, so I do have access to them quite easily. So that is something that I'm not worried about. So again, you might want to think about it, right? Yeah, but definitely a cool blaster to have. It is a kind of the next step from the previous version, with all the firmware upgrades and all the nice parts upgrade. A heavy blaster, okay, so you do have to know that. And yeah, so there are things whereby you can attach, of course, okay. And I like the form, I like the handling of it. I'm a right-hander, so no issue over here in terms of that. A good kind of thing, good shouldering length, and for your to hold on to. Yeah, accuracy is there, efficiency is there. Yeah, so I'm Tungsten. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. And for my long-time viewer, thanks for supporting me, and thanks for hanging around. And yeah, hope to see you soon in the next few videos. Bye.